I'm Scarlet Fu. This is ETF IQ. For every ETF that offers exposure to a sector or country, it's not long before others follow suit. Joining us is Schoenfeld, founder and CIO of BlueStar Indexes. But before we get to him, Eric Balchunas is going to give us a drill down into ITEQ.
Thank you, Scarlet. Today we're going to talk about an area of the market that is red hot, but is almost completely slipped through the cracks of indexes, and that is Israel tech industry. You have the Israel Tech ETF that's basically tripling the performance, up 32% in 2 years, of the Israel ETF. So that's how big the tech push has been there. And it's interesting, Israel is a tough area to capture. We look at this country inside developed market indexes and benchmarks, and it's almost invisible. When you look at the percentage of holdings these have, you have like IFA, it's 0.46% as a country, but the tech is only 0.12%. So this is one of these cases of a lost country where it got promoted from emerging markets to developed and went from a big fish in a small pond to virtually invisible. So these single country ETFs are what you look for when you're trying to play a lost country like this. And there's two Israel tech ETFs, believe it or not. And the difference is, there's a lot of numbers here, but basically what you have to know is this equal weighting means this thing's jumpier, it's more concentrated, so it's going to have a lot more volatility and a higher PE. This one's a little more stable, ITEQ. And so, Scarlet, there's now two Israel ETFs to choose from, but the good news, these stocks aren't really in any other indexes.
Yeah, you can't find them in many places. All right, let's bring in Schoenfeld, who manages ITEQ and focuses on Israeli and Mediterranean markets. As Eric has shown, Israel's tech sector is a big reason why ITEQ is doing well. This is a decades-old story when it comes to Israeli tech. What helped drive this innovation, and what companies are at the forefront of it?
So Israel, after Silicon Valley, is the most vibrant tech ecosystem in the world. And yet, as Eric said, it's missing from most investors' portfolios. So you have leading companies like Checkpoint, Amdocs, Verint, almost any disruptive sector, you have leading Israeli companies, and yet they fall through the cracks. They're not in most investors' portfolios.
Give us some examples of companies in it. I didn't go through that. What do they do? Like, why are they up so much?
So cybersecurity. Checkpoint actually invented the term firewall. It is the first and is still one of the leading cybersecurity companies. But Israel, as you know from the dangerous neighborhood that it's in, is a leader in the integration of cybersecurity, traditional defense, and actionable intelligence. So companies like Nice Systems and Verint, which can control perimeters and borders. All the scary terrorism that we're dealing with in our lives, Israel's been dealing with it, and its companies are at the cutting edge.
And when you look at some of the tech names as well, they're takeover candidates, or at least attractive takeover candidates.
Absolutely. So a major event last year was when Intel made its biggest ever acquisition of Mobileye, $15 billion. And it was, of course, in our index, and it came out. But there's many, many other companies. And in fact, Israeli institutions are now using our same index because they're afraid to miss that next takeover.
And we talk about this the concept of lost countries. Israel is one. What was it, 4% in emerging markets, and now it's 0.4%. What was that like with the flows? Did it hurt the stock when it came over? Because this does happen a lot. You see countries get promoted. Do you want to play it when it gets promoted or play it before it gets? How does that work?
Good question.
So Israel absolutely was a victim of its success. It's only the second country to successfully graduate from emerging to developed, but the dedicated emerging market managers stopped investing in it, and it was too small in the developed market portfolios for the active managers to pick it up, in particular because MSCI actually shrunk the MSCI Israel once it went into IFA. So that's part of why we created BlueStar in 2011, to help raise the visibility of these stocks, and equally important, include Israeli stocks, whether they're listed in Tel Aviv, New York, London, or even Singapore and Australia.
Yeah, the actual location doesn't matter as much as
absolutely.
What they do. All right, Schoenfeld, founder and CIO of BlueStar Indexes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
He manages the ITEQ.